Hello, everyone. So, our topic of discussion for today is illusions. Let us firstly understand what are these illusions. Illusions are nothing but a mismatch that is between the physical stimuli and our perception. Many a times we have actually experienced that our perception does not match with the external reality or the external stimuli that I probably could be viewing. So there is going to be a mismatch there, and that is what is called illusion. So illusions are actually our misperceptions, and they result from the misinterpretation of the information that is received by our sensory organs. And these kind of misperceptions or these illusions, they are actually experienced more or less by each one of us, and they are actually resulting from an external stimulus situation, and they generate the same kind of experience in each of the individual, and that is why they are called primitive organizations. What's important here to understand is that some of the perceptual illusions are actually universal, which means they are going to be found in case of every individual and they are very permanent, right? And actually they will not change with experience, or even for that matter with practice, they will continue to appear. They are some permanent or universal perceptual illusions. One of the examples can be like the converging of the railway tracks. How we sometimes feel that the rail tracks are actually converging, you know at a distance we do feel that. So these are permanent perceptual illusions, and they will not change no matter what with experience or even by practice for that matter. And that is why we can say that they are actually called universal illusions or permanent illusions. But there are some illusions that actually can vary from person to person, you know and those are actually called personal illusions. So now, of course, we are going to be discussing some of the visual illusions in the coming slides. So let us move ahead with the visual illusions. So we do have the geometrical illusion and we have the apparent movement illusion. Coming to the geometrical illusion, which you can see given on the slide, extreme left corner, top left corner, and you can see that there are two lines actually, right? Now this illusion is actually experienced by a lot of school children, even by maybe many of us, but we've actually not really paid attention to this kind of geometrical illusion. So both these lines essentially are of the same length. The difference is that in case of the first line, the arrows are drawn, you know inwards, you know and in the second line the arrow is drawn outwards. So in the first case it's inward, and in the second case it's outward, means it's pointing outwards. Now the length of the line is the same, but only the tip of the arrow in the first case is inward and in the second case it's outward. And what we perceive is that the second line is shorter than the first line, or many a times we'll feel that the first line, which is on the top, is slightly longer than the second line. But essentially, both the lines are of the same length. So, this is actually a form of illusion which is called geometrical illusion. When we come to the second type, which is the apparent movement illusion, now this kind of illusion is experienced when, there are some motionless pictures. They are actually projected one after another at an appropriate rate. So these motionless pictures are going to be presented one after another at a fixed or appropriate rate. And this kind of illusion is called the phi phenomena. Now, for instance, when you go to a cinema hall, what is happening? This is the kind of illusion that is actually taking over us when we are watching a movie in a cinema hall. You know, there is a succession of flickering electrical lights, you know, that is actually generating this illusion, you know. So basically there are motionless pictures which are coming one after another, but literally we feel that each picture is moving, it's showing some movement. That's what we experience in cinema halls also. And also, for instance, if you take example of wedding lights or festive lights, you know, you must have seen that you actually sometimes feel that the light is flowing literally. It's showing a very flowy movement. You know, we feel that the light is flowing from top to bottom. Sometimes we feel it's going from bottom to top. The light is literally moving, or the light is flowing through the wires. That is the kind of illusion we have, you know. But what is happening, that on the string of wire there are tiny bulbs, you know, and they could be of different colors. You know, one could be of green, then pink, then green and pink. What is happening, we feel that the light is moving, it's flowing through the wire, but what happens is, when the light of the pink bulb is on, the light of the green bulb is off, you know, and when the pink bulb goes off, the green bulb is put on. So that is how it works. But when we look at it, we actually feel that it is moving in a continuous motion. It is literally moving in a continuous motion. The light is literally flowing through the wire, you know, it is moving through the wire. So we get that moving effect, or we get that flowing effect, but literally this is nothing but a trick, right? So this is also an illusion which we have witnessed many times, you know. So this is how the lights, electrical lights in the wires also move, but we would perceive it as moving or flowing, but this is nothing but the apparent movement illusion, where some motionless pictures will be projected one after another, you know, and they appear to us as moving, but literally they're not moving, you know, because immediately the next one will be projected immediately at an appropriate rate. So we will not even realize that the picture or the light wasn't moving actually, you know, because it happens immediately one after another. So this is how this apparent movement illusion works. And there are two pictures given to us, you know, which also explains this kind of apparent movement illusion. And so basically, the experience of illusions that we gather, it very clearly indicates that people do not always perceive the world as it is. Of course, we will not perceive the world as it is right in front of us. Our perceptions and the external stimuli that I'm watching, the physical stimuli, is not going to match sometimes, you know. So basically, it is nothing but you know, how sometimes it's based on the features of stimuli, and sometimes it's based on their experiences in a given environment, you know. That's how it kind of is basically helping the people to perceive the world, you know. And so further we have another topic, which is the last topic, and that actually talks about the socio-cultural influence on perception. So this study, where, you know, a number of experiments were conducted, a lot of psychologists came together, they conducted few studies, experiments, and what actually was found was that, you know, the interpretation of pictures, you know, is strongly related to your cultural experiences, you know. So, of course, in general, if we see, people can recognize familiar objects which are given in the pictures. But the ones who don't have that much exposure to pictures, you know, that have not really been able to kind of get that kind of exposure being a part of their own culture, they did not get that kind of exposure, they will obviously find it difficult to interpret, you know. In case of actions or events that probably could be depicted, you know. So yes, it's very important to understand that how people in different parts of the world tend to look at things differently, you know. And so basically, many psychologists actually held this view that their ways of perceiving the world, it must be in some way different, isn't it? So that's very important to understand, that how we are actually perceiving the world so differently, right? So, of course, it all comes down to the kind of instructions, the kind of habitual exposure that you've been able to get, pertaining to your own culture that you're coming from. It all comes down to your culture, your exposure that you probably have been fortunate enough to get pertaining to your culture, actually. So that in a way is contributing highly to the interpretation. So definitely, socio-cultural factors, they do play a very important role in our perceptions. So this way we are able to interpret better. These influences are impacting our perceptions greatly. So with this, we come to an end. Thank you so much.